Alright, you lot, welcome to this week's Hey Scotty, where I dive head first into your questions and give you a straight answer, sprinkled with a healthy dose of Yorkshire charm, wit, and just enough sarcasm to keep things interesting. We've got a cracking lineup today, from time travel to fixing games' future, CoD nostalgia, and how to keep content grind alive without losing your marbles. But before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that bollocks. It helps the channel grow and keeps me from needing to flog dodgy gaming headsets on side. Right. Let's not faff about, grab a brew, get comfy, and let's jump in. Right then, lads and lasses, we've got a proper belter here from Ages444 on YouTube, who's clearly been chewing on some big questions. Since 2022, I believe gaming is on up and up, but recently, due to greedy corporate interests, SBMM, shutdowns, and controversies galore, I wonder where you stand with future of gaming. Is gaming evolving for better, or is it becoming a dumpster fire? There are still great games, but they're overshadowed by giants of modern gaming, Trepang 2, Dredge, and even Spec Ops Line, which, yeah, is over a decade old, but deserves a mention. These games aren't widespread, at least in my circle. Cheers for question, Ages. And you're not wrong, this one's got ponder material written all over it. Let's break it down, shall we? First off, gaming's been on up and up way before 2022. 2019 to 2022 gave gaming a nitro boost in popularity. People discovered it wasn't just about shooting things or grinding loot boxes. It's a full-blown cultural phenomenon. Whether it's indie masterpieces, VR tech, or cross-platform multiplayer, gaming as an industry has been thriving. But, and it's a big but, like Activision CEO bonus check big, AAA gaming, that's a different story entirely. Mate, AAA gaming has been circling drain for a while now, and it's thanks to things you mentioned, greedy corporate interest, that bloody engagement optimised matchmaking, live service nonsense, an obsession with churning out sequels rather than taking risks. Activision, EA, Ubisoft, take your pick. They're all guilty of turning gaming into a soulless cash grab, where victory feels about as satisfying as a microwave Greg's pasty. I reckon we're standing on crossroads here. Path 1 is where twonks keep paying for broken games, overpriced skins, and surprise mechanics, aka loot boxes, fueling this vicious cycle. Bigwigs rake it in, and gamers are handed meaningless participation trophies. Yay, you won! Here's a shiny badge for logging in 10 days in a row. Path 2, though, that's one we want. It's where gamers grow a spine, stop throwing money at exploitative practices, and start supporting devs that actually gear toss about the craft. Indie game, niche title, smaller studios. They're real future of gaming. Trepang 2, Dredge, and Spec Ops Line. Mate, those are prime examples of what happens when passion meets creativity. They might not have marketing budget of Call of Duty, but they deliver experiences that stick with you. Oh, and speaking of Dredge, how many of you noticed it were part of Epic's daily gearwares this week? If you missed it, you missed out on a proper gem. Fishing horror with a Lovecraftian twist? What's not to love? And Spec Ops Line, bloody fantastic. That campaign hit like a freight train it feels. I still own it on Xbox, and after this chat, I'm bloody reinstalling it. Thanks for the reminder, Ages. So to wrap it up, gaming as a medium is evolving, and it's getting better, just not at top at food chain. Giants of modern gaming might overshadow smaller titles, but gems like ones you mentioned prove that there's hope yet. It's up to us as players to pick path forward. And cheers for the question, mate. Let's see what rest of you think in comments. Is gaming's future bright, or are we all just passengers on Titanic? Next up, we got a cracking question from Thomas Durham III on Twitter. Okay, if you were able to travel back in time, what would you change in your life? How would you go about making gaming industry better or less toxic? Right then, Thomas, buckle up, cause here's my take. What would I change in my life? No, mate. Not a damn thing. Path I've walked, dodgy decisions, hard knocks and all, has made me who I am today. Sure, it's been a roller coaster and some of those dips were downright brutal, but every twist and turn has shaped me into a bloke sitting here, having a laugh with you lot. So now I won't meddle with my own timeline. Past is what it is, and honestly, I'm alright with where I ended up. Now, to gaming industry. If I could go back and tweak a few things, I'd have a bloody field day. Here's the list. First, I'd shoot guy who invented SBMM. Alright, maybe not literally, but you get gist. skill-based matchmaking, it's bane of modern multiplayer gaming. It's turned every casual session into a sweatfest where you're either getting stomped or fighting for your life like it's finals of some imaginary esports tournament. No one asked for this, and yet here we are. Then I put a price cap on games. Game prices are a joke these days. 60 to 70 quid for a base game that's riddled with bugs and missing half of its content? Nah mate, I'd slap a price cap on game sale, just for actual inflation. No more paying AAA prices for half-baked beta tests. I'd ban paid DLC, including cosmetics. Remember when DLC actually meant extra content and not stuff we stripped out to sell back to you later? Yeah, I'd take us back to those days. No more charging for cosmetics, map packs, or alt that should have been included in first place. Games should feel complete when you buy them. End of. Finally, harsher punishments for cheaters. Cheating's still rampant, and it's ruining online gaming for everyone. I'd lobby for stricter bans, better anti-cheat systems, and maybe a little public shaming for good measure. Want to aimbot in Warzone? Cool. Enjoy your new username. Cheater McTwonkface. Is this achievable now? Honestly, somewhere it's possible if rate people stopped chasing profit margins and started listening to players. But until then, we're stuck in this loop of live service hell and predatory monetization schemes. Thanks for the question, Thomas. This one were a proper thinker. Now it's over to you lot. What would you change about gaming industry? Let us know in comments. Next up, we got your boy Ricky123 on YouTube asking a proper heartfelt one. It's okay if you don't answer. But in your last video, you said you used controllers one-handed or accessibility control. What's wrong with your other arm? Alright, Ricky, listen up. I don't normally bring this stuff up because, well, it's my issue, yeah? I'm not here fishing for sympathy subs or sad violin music in background. But since you asked, mate, here's the deal. It's my right hand that's the problem. 23 years ago, something happened. Let's just say it was downright horrifying. It severed all tendons and nerves just above wrist. Left me in a bit of a mess. Doctors had to do some proper Frankenstein-level reconstructive surgery to patch me up. You know what? They smashed it out at park. You wouldn't even know to look at it now. Looks normal, right? But on inside, not so much. Result? No coordination. Zilch. It's got strength, so it can carry and hold things, but asking it to aim a gun in Call of Duty? Forget it, mate. Typing? I'm over here using my pinky and thumb on that hand while left hand does all heavy lifting. Now, lucky for me, I'm a lefty, born that way, so losing right hand's coordination won't end at world. I can still game, just in my own way. I've had to get creative though, controllers are my saviour. But here's kicker, I aim with my thumb and shoot with my pinky. Yeah, that right, my KD's usually hovering around 0.8. Not stellar, but hey, that's about average according to stats. So really, I'm holding my own with outfit tools most people have. I even upgraded to one of those controllers with back paddle, Power Air Fusion Pro 2. Absolute game changer for me. I could map paddles for jumping, crouching and firing, which gave me more movement option. But downside? Those paddles were flimsier than a politician's promise and snapped faster than my patience with campers. So I switched it up again. Got myself one with built-in buttons on back and even foot pedals. Yeah, foot pedals. I'm used to those from racing games. So now I've got 3 extra buttons at my disposal. It's brilliant. But look, Rick, I'm not here for pity party. Circumstances that got me here, they were my own fault. I've made my peace with it. This is my normal now. And to be honest, I don't even think about it anymore. I'll bring it up if it's relevant, like in that video when I had to explain why I'm low on KD. But most of the time, my response is just, "'Cause I'm not a sweat, you twonk." So there you go, Ricky. That's my story. Thanks for asking, mate. And to everyone else watching, let this be a reminder. Gaming's for everyone. Don't matter if you got one hand, 2 hands, or playing with your feet. Just have fun and don't be a twonk in comments. Now, our mate Johan Amelin 1217 pops up on YouTube with a proper noodle scratcher of a question. What are some games you'd recommend for someone who wants to break out at first-person shooters but don't really like hotels? Hey, that's a tough one, innit? I'd be knocking me noggin against walls, pacing around like a Sims character when they can't find loot. But you know what? I've cracked it. Stick with me, because I've got a few absolute belters to shake up your gaming life without straying too far away from what you love. You like FPS, but fast paced, yeah? Feeling a tearing through baddies and looking like an absolute legend while you're doing it. Well, Devil May Cry 5 delivers that, but swaps guns for swords, demons, and combos so slick you'll wonder why you've been staring down iron sights all this time. It's got same adrenaline-fueled chaos, only now you're flipping through air like a caffeinated ninja. If first-person shooters are your bread and butter, Gears of War is like moving from lager to craft ale. It's third-person shooter, so it's not too far off. You're still shooting stuff, but now you got chunky cover mechanics and a story with actual emotional depth. Imagine Call of Duty, but with your art. Yeah, mad, I know. Now hear me out on this one. If you love thriller FPS games, Hades offers a similar dopamine rush. It's a roguelike game where you hack and slash your way through underworld with weapons that feel almost as satisfying as headshot in Halo. Plus it's got a story you'll actually care about. And art style? Chef's kiss. Now if you want to ease yourself into something different without letting go of your trusty gunplay, Mass Effect's where it's at. It's got dialogue trees and choices that actually matter, but when it comes down to it, you're still blasting enemies in their alien faces. Think of it as FPS with a bit of a brain. And this one's for when you're ready to put dark guns entirely. Shadow of Mordor drops you into Middle Earth with naught but a sword, a bow, and a grudge against thousands of orcs. It's got that same sense of badassery you get from FPS games, but now you're chaining kills and taking on entire armies like your Aragorn on steroids. There you go, mate. A list of games that'll knock you out of FPS comfort zone without feeling like you're playing some turn-based nonsense or wandering around aimlessly in an open world where your objective is to find inner peace. Now, these are action-packed, adrenaline-filled alternatives that'll make you realise there's life beyond scope. So, Johan, grab one of these gems and let us know if I've converted you. Or, you know, if you just ended up back on Call of Duty lobbies screaming into the void. Either way, I'll be here for banter. Next up, our mate Top Lemonade on YouTube with this cracker of a question. How do you get motivation to make videos daily? I barely get motivation to make any, and when I do, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get another hour to wake up, or hotels. It should be fine. Well, mate, here's honest answer. Motivation is you lot. Plain and simple. Without community, laughs, and engagement, I'd probably be in the same boat as you, pushing things off until later. But it's real secret. It's not just motivation. It's planning, structure, and a touch of discipline. Let me break it down. A lot of people think I'm sitting here recording and editing videos every single day, same way they assume I spend all day with my feet up playing games. Truth is, there's a system behind madness. A schedule that keeps everything ticking along. Whole process starts at weekend. I'm laid back on sofa watching my TV shows, movies, maybe scrolling through comments, Twitter, and gaming news sites for ideas. Sometimes inspiration strikes during evening gaming sessions with my sons. I note everything down, typing it all out on my phone while I'm chuckling to myself. No stress, no rush, just brainstorming. Monday though, that's tricky. Nobody likes Mondays, even when you're your own boss. But I've got to get up. I've got clients to deal with. Yeah, YouTube don't pay bills, unfortunately. Between client calls and emails, I record scripts I wrote over the weekend. And no, it's not always smooth sailing. Bloopers are regular occurrence. I also gather graphics, sounds, and hotels I might need, and store them in an organised folder. Tuesday's day I don't deal with clients, so it's about editing. I cut out all fluff, listening back to ensure everything sounds right, and re-record any major errors. Once audio's good, I save it alongside graphics and sounds. Then comes magic. I use DaVinci Resolve with a pre-made video template that has all regular bits, intro, outro, background music. I just drop in audio, any extra visuals and gameplay footage from weekend. Render, upload, schedule, boom, done. Here's kicker. Each video takes about an hour to complete, but most of that time's passive, rendering, uploading, or waiting for files to process. My actual hands-on work per video is only around 20 minutes on those days, and sometimes I batch upload a bunch of videos in advance so I can kick back and relax when needed. For example, recently my health took another hit, but thanks to schedule, channel kept running smoothly. Only videos I do last minute are Hey Scotty series, recorded and edited on Saturday evenings, and occasional patch notes or urgent update videos. So mate, you're not looking for motivation, you're looking for structure. Planning things out and sticking to a schedule makes all the difference. You don't need to feel motivated every day, you just need a solid plan to keep you going when motivation takes holiday. Cheers for the question, matey. And to everyone watching, if you got your own tips for staying consistent, drop them in comments. Let's help each other out. Next up, we got a question from our regular pyro-friendly arsonist 9195, who always brings heat. Hey Scotty, despite COD's downfall, is there any old COD you enjoy afore SBMM? Pyro, mate, let's take a walk down memory lane, shall we? First off, I've loved Call of Duty from very start. Say what you will about its faults, but those campaigns, absolute gold. Sure, they've recycled war hero narrative a few times, but as long as it's entertaining and keeps me hooked, I don't really care if it's a rinse and repeat. Although newer CoDs since 2019 have not delivered on solid campaigns that pull me in. But back in day, oh, it was something else. Modern Warfare Trilogy, masterpieces. Black Ops 1 and 2, incredible storytelling, even if they veered into conspiracy theory territory. I'd argue campaigns were so good they almost made you forget about chaos in multiplayer lobbies. Almost. Now on to multiplayer, where real memories are made. For me, Crown Jewel has to be original Modern Warfare 2 from 2019. That game was lightning in a bottle. It wasn't just about maps, weapons or gameplay, although they were all brilliant. It was community. Back then all my old clan mates from Lost Planet returned, and we split into 2 new clans. I joined both. Why hell not? For Call of Duty, starting with Modern Warfare 2, I was co-founder and member of KYMF, Kill You Motherfuckers. Now my usual gamer tag back then was Destructor, but when I played with those guys I rocked the tag KYMF or Dramalek. Not gonna lie, I wasn't a fan of having old separate profile just for a clan, but hey, it meant I had a crew to play with, so I rolled with it. We were all on PlayStation, so it was pure chaos in best way. I stuck around with crew until about 2016, when I made jump to Xbox. Starting fresh meant finding new friends and building a whole new community, which, while fun, never quite matched those early days at KYMF madness. Fast forward to today, and, well, we all know how things turned out. SBMM came along and drank fun out of multiplayer faster than a leech on steroids. These days, you're either a sweaty tryhard or cannon fodder, with no middle ground. But back in Golden Era, it wasn't about stats or algorithms, it was about getting your mates together and having a laugh. So yeah, if I had to pick a favourite, it's Modern Warfare 2 from 2009. That's one that gave me best memories, best mates, and best time in CoD history. Suits decided to ruin it with SBMM and other nonsense. Thanks for the question, Pyro. Now I'm curious, what's everyone else's favourite Call of Duty from back in the day? Let's get nostalgic down in comment. Alright, last but by no means least, our mate Firkinel came in with an absolute belter. The character from a game were real, obviously in an alternate world. Which character would you be? Let's not forget to include any game. Games from Oddworld Abe, the Sonic Hedgehog, or even CoD. Let's see if you fall into the trap. You name it, we're listening. Well, Firkinel, after some careful thought, much contemplation, and a little, I've already thought about this before, I can proudly reveal my choice, Geralt of Rivia. Why? Geralt is epitome of badass. He's got sharp wit, dry humour, and unshakable resolve to handle any situation. Qualities I'd like to think I already have, minus white hair. For now. Add to that monster slaying, potion brewing, an old legendary swordsman with magical signs thing. Well mate, that's just cherry on top. Then there's moral grey area. You don't see world as black and white, but as shades everyone's a bit of a knob, but some knobs deserve justice. That's mindset I can absolutely get behind. Oh, and let's not ignore his incredible knack for surviving any disaster, whether it's an angry dragon, witch's curse, or a chatty bard with too many ideas. Plus bloke's got roach, a horse that's always conveniently nearby, even if laws of physics need to bend to make it happen. As for your trap, now you mentioned Call of Duty, let me guess, you were hoping I'd say something like Captain Price or Ghost. Nah mate, don't get me wrong, they're legends, but do I want to live in a world where every day feels like a never-ending multiplayer lobby filled with sweaty tryhards and respawn timers? Absolutely not. So yeah, Geralt of Rivia. He's got swords, swagger, and smarts to navigate a world that's arguably even messier than ours. What's not to love? That's your turn, folks. If you could be any game character in an alternate world, who would it be and why? Let's hear your answers in comment. Cheers for the question, Firkinel. And that's it for this week's Hey Scotty. Cheers for sticking around and joining the banter. It's always a blast having you lot around for a ride. Now, if you want to support channel and get some exclusive perks, check out channel membership. No pressure, purely optional. Okay? Fancy more of a natter? Join Discord and be part of the community. We're chatting games, sharing memes, and occasionally ripping into the state of modern gaming. Want to keep up with me on socials? Follow me on Twitter for updates, gaming tech, and occasional rant when my controller decides to yeet itself mid-match. All links you need are in the description below. And don't forget, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and leave your comments and questions below. I might just feature them on channel. I'll see you next time, you magnificent.